Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are crime dramas. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Mayor of Kingstown Season 3, Episode 7. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, the opening wasn't what I thought it was, because, I knew that I was like, okay, these are the girls that Constantine are having brought in and Iris brought up. But I was like, okay, KBD, Mike knows that they're coming in because of Iris. So I'm like, KBD must be waiting, or maybe you let someone know ahead of time. But then they got passed through. I was like, well, not unless they're going to wait till they get to KBD. But then the moment they make it to Kings County, they get knocked off the bridge. I didn't see that coming. So I'm like, okay, so who was responsible? The Rolodex of people responsible, my immediate thought was could it be Callahan? But then Mike brings it up later on about I think it was Ian who said why would Callahan do that? Him and Constantine are in bed together, so why would he do that? But Mike's like, yeah, but Callahan knows that Constantine's messing with him. He even said it last episode, the moment he gets a chance, he's going to screw you over. That guy has no loyalty, But it's because the whole conversation was Ian's point was, would he bite the hand that feeds him type of situation? And it's Callahan thinks he is the one in control, and I don't know. But then immediately afterwards, I was like, not unless it was Constantine. I was like, but why would he do that? And because later on, Ian suggested it might be Bunny. It's Bunny's been awfully quiet. This could be his retaliation. But it's would Bunny even have access to that information knowing that? So, Bunny's resourceful, so he could have, but I highly doubt that. Even I start questioning, could Bunny have done it? A lot of stuff has kind of got Mike questioning stuff. Because he even talks to Ian later on, it's do I have a blind spot when it comes to Bunny? And it's he does. He has a very, amongst any criminals he deals with, that's the only person he sits down and casually talks to from time to time. They share drinks. They are like brothers. It's he's the only person, Mike's has an association with a lot of people. I would say there is a friendship between him and Bunny. That definitely went down the drain this episode, but Mike had to question it because it's yeah, I do often turn a blind spot to Bunny. That it's that's also why Bunny's, out of anyone in Kingstown, he is the one that holds most of the cards right now, which is kind of what led to the situation it is now, because there is no even split. Bunny's kind of got the run of things in prison and on the streets, so it was never this equal criminal equilibrium that it's supposed to be that Mike, tries to say that it does. He always gives Bunny the wink and nudge. It's kind of all right, I'm gonna give you time to shift stuff over to kind of make everything even, to make everyone whole type of situation. But yeah, Bunny was severely annoyed and heartbroken when Mike's whoa, you think I'm capable of that? Because the sad thing is, there's a dozen girls that died on that bus, each one of them not even 18 years old, as Evelyn put it. It's they were children. The fact is, they weren't even, they were their passports were taken from them, so it's when can we get it back? It's yo, you get them back soon. What about our cell phones? It's the guy's oh, you'll be able to talk to your boyfriend soon enough. It's most likely she was trying to, it's the title character of the episode. Is it Marya? She was trying to get her cell phone back. I'm sure she was going to try and call her parents or something, not just a boyfriend. They were joking about boyfriend, but I'm sure it was her parents. And it's sad that the situation ended that way. All of them are dead, and they didn't know what the situation was going to be, what it was. But either way, my thinking is that it's Constantine, and the reason why I'm thinking that is because, well, he got jammed up by KBD last episode. So in my head, Constantine's hey, KBD arrested us. Whatever operations we have currently, kill it, nip it in the bud. I guess they were already en route, that there was nothing that could be done at that point in time. Especially the way Constantine acts later on. He's not too broken up about it. Iris definitely is, but Constantine isn't. So that's where I'm not unless it's someone else. Maybe it is Callahan, but I feel it's got to be Constantine, right? Because he just... That's my only logic behind what this could have been. It's just right, any operations we had going that happened before or that are still ongoing prior to KBD, we got to shut that shit down. We got to raise it all to the ground because we don't know what they might know ahead of time. So, but once again, why wait till they get to Kingstown just to make a point, but also could just be like I said, they were en route. Especially because the woman that works for Constantine was in touch with them, and not less the Roman dude's the one that was behind. Like, he might be the one that makes those unilateral decisions for Constantine. Maybe, I don't know. But I was wondering, like, because she was the one that was on her phone constantly, and then later on you see her, like, searching, like, I think photos for new girls to bring in. It's like, yep, just got to keep the operation going. It's like, because at least this way, whatever routes were set up ahead of time, it's like, okay, so we bring in new girls and KBD won't be expecting it. So maybe that's the justification of, like, right, even now, then, like, even if they're watching us, what they knew beforehand is kind of a moot point because we're just going to find a new route to bring girls. I don't know. I don't know if that's just justification. Like I said, I don't know if Constantine's just plain dumb, but Iris seeing it on the news because Mike wanted it, like, to be said. He needs it to be an accident because he doesn't want this to be a retaliation saloon showdown type of shit. So it's like he's trying to keep everything. Once again, his job has always been to try and keep the powder keg that is Kingstown from exploding. And so he's making it labeled as an accident, and Iris is just kind of looking. And that whole scene with Constantine being like, look away, and she doesn't, and he forces her to. He's like, oh, like, you don't have that fear in you anymore. I guess for him, it's like, who you used to be, like, you would have listened to me, and out of fear of what I might do to you or something, or what might be done to you. But now it's like, you don't even listen to me, because fear doesn't, after everything she's been through, and it's just, she refuses to turn a blind eye to it, because I'm sure, like, when she looks at those girls that died, it's like, that was me at one point in time. I'm in the situation I am now, but it still doesn't change the fact is that was me. It still kind of is me, and I could just, I mean, it's just a stark reminder, because she thinks, like, right, I mean, she recognizes, like, yeah, I'm his drug buddy, that the moment that stops, I'm just as dead. I'm dead quicker than Tatiana is, you know. So Iris had made that point last episode, so I don't know. And then there's that thing where Constantine seeing her in white and saying, like, oh, like, Cinderella, it's your time, the clock has struck midnight, who are you meeting in the shadows? And he's like, if you won't look away, I'll send you away. So I don't know if he knows that he's just playing Iris. Because Roman, like, his guy, like I said, I think the guy's name is Roman, and he's like, he's the one that caught Iris on the phone, be like, oh, who are you talking to? She's like, yeah, people back home. And he's like, he's definitely suspicious of Iris. So he's probably the one you're going to have to worry about, because she is Constantine's blind side. Probably wasn't even Constantine that found out about Tatiana. It was probably Ronan, because he looks after Constantine like that, maybe. I don't know what to make of it. Maybe Constantine had nothing to do with it, and maybe it actually is Callahan. Would be poetic considering, like, Callahan wasn't in this episode at all. So it's that thing, kind of like, oh, you're not in the episode, but your presence has still felt the ramifications for your action, you know. So the situation hitting everyone hard, because it's like, even Ian giving that description of, like, yeah, the morticians had to, like, hammer the girls' hands because rigor mortis set in, because a good chunk of them died clutching each other's hands. Like, that imagery is fucking horrendous. I mean, it wasn't even just imagery too, because we just saw like the dead bodies and the eyes open. Like I said, the Marya thing of her leaving, like, oh, Marya was here, and it's just the only proof of herself, and it's just kind of a nasty situation. There's this scene where Evelyn was there with the bodies, and Mike was like, yeah, I figured this is where you'd be. And she's like, no, you came down here because you kind of wanted a reminder of the dead. You needed to keep them in your mind. And it's like, Mike's like, I just need time to, like, keep this an accident till I can figure stuff out. And she's like, and what? Then he's like, no, we're not going to bring, whoever's responsible for this isn't going in front of a fucking judge. Never. Like, he's like, they're going to disappear. So it is going to be interesting to see, like I said, I just feel like it's Constantine, but at this point, it feels like it could be anyone. I highly doubt it's Bunny, but there's still a part of me, like, even just a small percentage of me being like, could it be Bunny? I don't know, especially because he's in his, like, because Rhonda, also, clarification, I kept going back and forth. I was like, no, it's his sister, right? It's like, no, it is, in fact, his cousin. So he's locked and loaded and ready to go to war. He hasn't made his move yet. Because that was Mike's justification. It's like, right, he's burying Rhonda, like, going to her wake. It's like, he doesn't have time to really think about, like, Constantine and Callahan and stuff. But it's like, no, as Ian put it, it's like he can't compartmentalize. Once again, he is you so caught up with him that you don't realize the monster he is. He's just kind of like everyone else. And Bunny made it clear this episode, I'm going to be the monster, because he's like, this relationship we had, Mike, it's supposed to go two ways, but it doesn't always. He's like, I give a lot. I don't feel like I get much back from you. So Bunny's going his own way, waging war, and it's like there's going to be so much death, and Mike wants to avoid an all-out war that this can turn into. But now it's like Bunny's turned his back on Mike, especially because of the whole situation with the girls on that bus. It's like Bunny was offended by the notion. So because this all ties into like eventually like to the Raphael situation. He gets jammed up by the COs. They set this whole thing up just so they can like put him in solitary confinement, and he or by himself and stuff, like not in Gen Pop. And Mike has Carney give him a phone after Carney told him what had happened to Raph. And so he was able to call up Bunny, because I thought Mike was doing that just so he could talk to Raph, but I was like, well, because there's no way Raph got word that you and Bunny are on the outs, but he was doing that as a favor to Bunny. It's like, right, you need to talk to Raphael. So who knows where they see, like, this might be Mike's like, all right, like, we're not good. This is my way of apologizing by doing you a big solid favor like this. But who knows if Bunny's going to like fully accept it. Like, I mean, him and Mike have had the issues, especially the whole like him being in prison last season thing. Like, he eventually got over that. Still harbors some resentment for that. So we'll see. But I mean, you know, Bunny's raw. Like, he lost his cousin last episode. He's heated. He's ready to go to war. He has got all, like, the military-grade weapons he can need for, like, waging war. And Mike's seen it firsthand. And it's like, yeah, you're in the mood to kill everybody, aren't you? And Bunny is. He's that angry, so... He's like, he even said, like, fine, I will be the monster, you know? So we'll see whether or not this action by Mike appeases some of that. I mean, it's not like it's going to alleviate everything Bunny's feeling right now. Once again, he's angry. It's all rage and raw. So we'll see how that turns out. But also where things stand with, you know, Iris and all this on the Constantine front, like how good is her cover right now? Is Mike wanting to pull her with everything going on? Because like, well, it's not even crossing his mind that it's Constantine, and I just don't know if Iris knows it's Constantine, because she's probably seen this time and time again. I mean, Tatiana's an example of it, but time and time again, girls just being tossed aside like nothing, and just Constantine telling her to look away, almost trying to be like, no, you're special, that could never be you, would never be you, you have me, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. So I don't know. I continue to be scared for Iris, because I'm like, there's no way, like, not no way, but I'm just like, I don't want to be right, but I feel like she's not making it out of this season, and I just hope she does, after everything she deserves to, you know? So we'll see, because Mike's going to beat himself up so much if something happens to Iris. He's going to blame himself. Despite this being her decision, it's still going to be like, he's like, because he's constantly wanted her to leave Kingstown and just live her life. Once again, once you stay, like, once Kingstown has its grip on you, there's no getting out. There's no getting away. So Bunny, circling back to Bunny really quickly, he promised to look after Raph's son and wife. I'm curious to see what's going to happen there, because the COs, because they replayed it in a recap where he's like, nah, I can reach you or whatever, and they're kind of threatening. It's like, oh, we know where your wife works. Oh, she works 2 jobs. We know what school your son goes to. So Bunny's promising to look after his family, because Raph was like, yo, 2 minutes, like, we've already lost enough family because of what happened to Rhonda last episode. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to keep that promise. And I think Bunny is, because that might be enough where he focuses on that more than his retaliation. But once again, Bunny can compartmentalize. I brought up Ian earlier. I want to touch up on that Charlie situation, where it's like, obviously Charlie's doing this thing, telling him more and more about the bodies and where they buried this particular body. It's like, yeah, there's one piece here, maybe another piece here, so it's like maybe 2 or 3 pieces. It's just the casualness that he talks about it. Granted, Charlie's not all there mentally. But then he kind of hits to the shenanigans him and Ian got up to. I say that jokingly and loosely, the term shenanigans, for what went down last season, but Ian's like, no. Focus on the tree. Because it's like, don't worry. If it's important, I'll tell you it's important. It's like, yeah, how long you think you want to keep that under wraps, Ian? Like, and obviously you did all that to protect Robert, too. And it's like, is Robert worth protecting? that ends up being a conversation between Kyle and Evelyn later on, because Evelyn had no idea that he moved to SWAT, and Evelyn's like, wait, did Mikey okay that? Which I'm sure Kyle took offense to that. Like, I need my big brother's like okay to do whatever the fuck. I'm a grown man. I can make my own decisions. It's like, yeah. Is like KP is SWAT where you need it to be, and it's like, especially this episode, because they ended up hitting the Colombians, which Bunny doesn't know about. Mike making that move kind of made it seem like, oh, that was just KBD doing its own thing, but he got no heads up about it. To be fair, it's like Mike was able to kind of use it. The sad circumstances of Bunny's not focused on that right now. He's more he's focused on Rhonda, but he is focused on his retaliation against Constantine at them, because it is their fault. Well, and the Aryans, because he at the time didn't know that was like, because that was most likely the Aryans that did that. That might not have been Constantine's people. That was probably the Aryans, but who knows? Either way, they're all culpable. They're all on the same side for now. So, either way, but he, like, during that whole situation, Kyle backed up Robert. He was like, you whole, you good, and he's like, those are two separate things. It's like, yeah, like, Robert was already kind of rocky to begin with. Like, this season, we were seeing, like, cracks. It feels like that's happening more and more, and I don't know what to make of that. And then you throw in Evelyn being like, yo, that guy's got a lot of kills, like, the fact of the matter is he's bulletproof, but what about the people around him? And Kyle's just kind of like, yeah, you probably want to stop while you're ahead, Evelyn, but it's like, I don't know. Because, I mean, once again, it's like, even I recognize Robert as, like I said, the bull that he is, and it's like, right, he does good work when you need him to, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, Robert's just one of those characters of, like I said previously, I was like, I think Mike doesn't see him as, like, a friend. I don't know if Robert does. I mean, Kyle definitely does, and Tracy, you know, and them see him as a friend, a family friend, a couple friend, but I'm like, I feel like Mike sees him as a means to an end, association. But hey, maybe I'm giving him too little credit. Maybe Mike does legitimately see him as a friend. That was just a whole conversation I think I had last episode, or maybe the episode before last. Speaking of Tracy, she tries to talk to Cherry about what happened to her. She kind of alludes, like, almost kind of like a, what does it matter? Like, whoever did this to her, it's like, one, maybe it was all of them, and it's like, how many people, like, assaulted her? And it's like, was it more than one? And the moment she mentions the guard specifically, Cherry was like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't fucking say anything. Well, don't put words in my mouth. So how she got defensive. And there was a guard outside, so I don't, you know, it is kind of a blue veil of sorts with the guard. So I could easily see her being the one that said something, because it's like, the word got back to Will that Cherry talked. And I was like, the fact is, he's sticking so close to Tracy. I knew it the way he responded later on. And like, he was like talking to her and following her to a car. I was like, oh boy. And things got scary. I was like, I knew it had to be him. Like I said, he's the only guard we've kind of got to know more personally at that corrections facility. I was like, it's got to be him, right? If he's not the only one, he's one of the, like, it is that either he's protecting other people that are involved, because he's got this perspective of, yeah, the pay isn't great, you know, it's all about service. And Tracy's like, well, regardless of these people's circumstances, they are still people. Whereas like Will kind of looks at them as like animals. It's interesting because it's like that family in general has like an interesting perspective on things, because Tracy like views like what happened to Sherry, regardless of who she is, what she's done, that does not justify what happened to her, what someone or one or multiple people might have done to her. On top, you know, and Mike kind of has that same perspective of like his perspective on criminals. Like the biggest pieces of shit, like he says fuck them, but generally speaking, like when it comes to the criminal world, he does, you know, he doesn't view them as animals like other people do, because like he definitely views like criminals as animals and stuff, like, you know. So I don't know, I just think that's kind of interesting. Certain people in that family have that perspective on things. But yeah, Will kind of made it clear, kind of like, yeah, like what kind of rights does someone like Sherry, I keep saying Sherry just because of like Sherry from The Boys, but Cherry deserve and stuff like that. And just him scaring Tracy and say, oh yeah, make sure you get home. There was an accident on the road and stuff. It's just like, Jesus. Even later on when she's with baby Mitch, she's like drinking, and you're like, I mean, she sips it a little bit, so I don't know if she like had it just for comfort or whether she actually was drinking it. Hopefully she tells Kyle now, because like it's like that's going to be a dangerous work environment you know, especially if he's got this inkling and feeling, because you also don't know who you can trust, considering like he somehow got information that you were talking to Cherry. It's like you like the only person there was like the guard that was outside, so she had to have said something. So you don't know who to trust. He even knows you visited the warden too, so that also says volumes about people talk. So I doubt not unless the warden talked to him, because like I brought that up previously. Like the warden definitely gave me vibes of like, yo, I'm a look after mine. You know, these animals aren't worth like, you know, throwing good people under the bus. Like let them do whatever they got to do. Like these people are less than human in a lot of ways. Warden kind of gave me those vibes. Hey, maybe she's on the up and up. I highly doubt it, but hey, I could be wrong. I'm curious to see where that ends up going, and what, like I said, whether or not Tracy really talks to anybody about it. It'd be interesting to find out if she goes to Mike for this, because she's never like pulled any favors with Mike. That's your brother-in-law, but you've never like pulled any favors with that. And I wonder, would he look into that for you? You know, or would she try to handle that on her own? Especially because, like, well, would she tell Kyle? Because Kyle might do something, so she's probably like, I tell Mike. There's a little distance there, like Mike can do something without Kyle ever finding out. Maybe. Well, let's not forget Kyle's also part of SWAT too, so that could get ugly. Maybe. There's a lot here. It's definitely going to be interesting to see where the next episode takes us with all of this. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.